Alright, good afternoon, folks. Today we're down here in my shop. We're going to make a little Sami Tinder bag, Tinder pouch. One of these. Little drawstring. There's a few of these online, or on YouTube, with people who make these. And I don't know, I make mine a little different. So, if you've seen all those, you still might want to check this one out, because I put my own little twist on it. So, without further ado, we've got the most important thing here, sheep hide, sheepskin, and this is actually the one that I made this out of. They darken up with time, the oils and stuff. Plus, I waterproof it on my own with the stuff I use for the gloves. So, let's get right to it. And today's episode is not brought to you by Ubu Ale. Ubu Ale is deep garnet red in color and features a dark roasted malt flavor. There are no added flavors in this beer. It is the unique grain combination that delivers flavors reminiscent of fruit, brown sugar, and chocolate. The beer finishes slightly dry and bitter with earthy hops. At 8.6% alcohol, this is a good brew. Locally, up here in Lake Placid, New York. Ubu Ale. Alright, so after that quick word from our not sponsors, alright, I made, this is 14.5 inch, roughly, and it's roughly a circle. It's not perfectly round. Being absolutely perfect with this isn't really necessary. Like you can see, I have lines on here all over the place. I scribbled, and I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, so what you're gonna do, take a piece of leather, make sure there's no imperfections in it. This is a really nice sheep hide. I can get these. If anyone's interested in the sheep hide, I get these. I could probably sell these, shipping included, like 25 bucks. And they're good size. This one here, I've already cut one out of, see? I forget how many feet these are. They usually have it stamped on the back. This is probably roughly 17 feet of leather right here. So, but yeah, and they're always, like the sheepskins, they're always in really, really nice shape. Really nice smooth grain. So, if anyone's interested, I can get these in all different colors. Just leave a comment if you're that interested in it. So anyhow, this is going to be kind of a quick down and dirty video. We're gonna take it. Try not to waste much leather. Now when you cut these out, well, when you if you're going to do this, I mean, and you don't need a leather hide. You can take if you have a leather sofa, you can that you're throwing away, or you find one at a dump or whatever. Any scrap piece of leather that's big enough, like this is 14.5 inches. So if it's 14.5 inches square, you really only need a little over a square foot for this. If you wanted to make it, say, smaller, you can go 11.5 inches, and you can buy a leather scrap. Hell, I'll sell you a leather scrap if you want. Yeah, and then you just make your template and lay it over that. I mean, a foot of leather isn't crazy expensive, and like I said, you can always upcycle an old leather jacket, piece of a sofa, piece of a chair, love seat. Hell yeah, a leather chair seat would probably be a good spot to source some leather. That'll probably be cowhide, but trust me, it's going to work fine. The leather is actually going to be a really nice thickness, and this here is actually about an upholstery thickness. This is actually upholstery leather. We do gloves out of it too, but it's a little thick for gloves, which is fine because it makes for a really good, strong work glove. The only problem with making gloves out of sheepskin is it doesn't stretch. There's no stretch to it like like a deer hide. It doesn't stretch the same way. But I'm not going to give you guys a lesson in freaking leather. Let's do what we came here to do, right? I get off track and off topic real easy. And before I know it, I'm editing out freaking 35 minutes of me jawboning. So, yeah, basically, real simple here, guys. Trace. We all learned how to do this probably in pre-K, kindergarten, somewhere in there. And even that, like, look at, check it. See, I messed up right there. Dude, not the end of the world. You don't have, nothing about this is an exact science. You're making a bag to hold stuff. And it's not like anything crazy. Just, just go with it, bro. Boom, see? Alright. Now, I shouldn't have lifted it up, but I'm glad I did so I can show you guys. I have a complete circle. Now, line your stuff back up here. Alright, we look pretty good. Yeah. And then, now, all these little holes, these are going to be where the drawstring goes through. Hopefully I'm going all the way through to the leather. I should be. Sure you do every single hole. Dude, I don't even know how many holes are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. Okay, 16. I was going to guess 16, but I wasn't sure if it was 16 or if I did 14. I made this pattern probably 8 months ago, so the finer nuances of, oh, did I put 14 or 16 holes in it? Yeah, that wasn't my biggest concern. I just went with what would work. Excuse me. And for this size, I think I spaced them every, it looks like 2 inches all the way across, which is, well, 16, so there's 360 degrees in a circle. So real quick math, 360 divided by 16 is every 30 degrees, I think. So every, say, that seems awful high, 30 degrees, 30, 60, 90, 180, now about every 20 degrees, right? So now that would be 18. Like to every 25 degrees, whatever. And you know what? It works out to like every 2 inches or so I got one. And that's for a 14-inch circle. If you went with an 11-inch circle, you'd probably be able to get away with 14 holes. Alright, now I had one of those really fancy little wheel. It looks like a pizza cutter. It's a wheel cutter for doing fabric, and it goes around this really nice, and it does a really awesome job of cutting. And that's the right tool to use. I don't know what I did with it, so I looked up before I got all my stuff out here in my shop. I tried looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So my wife, she's a crafter person, and she loaned me these super sharp little craft scissors. They're like, she says they're razor sharp. They'll work for what I'm doing. But you use these leather shears. Worst case Ontario, I probably would have just used my Swiss Army knife or something to cut it, but I got these. So now you just real simply Alright. I got one little mess up right here. I got folded up a little bit right in here. See that? That's fine. Because what we'll do is snip it off. There. And yeah, having fairly sharp scissors or whatever you're using to cut it, make sure they're not fairly sharp. Make sure they're very sharp, like brand new scissors, you know, or a brand new cutting wheel. You know, if it's your knife, if you're going to use a knife to cut this out, make sure it's razor sharp, like you can shave with it sharp. And cutting this will be a breeze. You know, these little scissors here, they look like little kid scissors, right? Watch. See that? See? Even the tips of them do a really good job of nipping stuff off. See? Shoot. So yeah, make sure your tools are sharp, as with everything you do in bushcraft or any kind of campcraft or whatever you're doing. Make sure your tools are in good working order. It's very, very, very important for whatever you're doing. So now let's move on to, we got all these, what do we count? 14 holes. I put 14 holes in this. Now this is, you can use whatever you want. You can punch a hole with an awl. My video where I haven't posted it yet, but I made a sling, you know, like a David and Goliath type sling, you know, a little hand sling, you know, and to punch the holes in the leather for the pouch on that, I just used I think a 30-30 shell or 30-40 Craig, you know, spent round, and you know, you got the end where your primer is and the end where the bullet goes. I just, you know, it was a spent round. I just, you know, went like this and used it to punch like I think 6 or 8 holes, and it worked all right. But the right tool for the job is actually get yourself a little punch kit. Boom. This is for installing grommets because those are going to come later. But yeah, right here. Alright, so whoa. Okay, so the next step, you got to get all these 14 holes. To do that, you buy one of these. So this is a leather punch. They come with, you got the ones with the wheel and the handle, and you just press them out. This one here is bigger, just a leather punch, just a real cheap one. I think it comes with the little, with this thing. It's actually no, you know what this is? It's a punch for well, for any kind of fabric, but it's for installing eyelets, little grommets, and we're going to do that on this. So first things first, start punching your holes. One. Do this much times. And if it doesn't go through the first time, oh, I don't get it. Alright. I'm trying to mess up on one here. Watch. Let's say you do this, and for whatever reason, it didn't go through. Look at that. You can see there's a, it's kind of cut.
happens, very simple. Stick your little cutting die, stick that right over the same exact hole, and just hit it harder. Or sometimes these blocks, they get worn out. See all these little cut marks? That's from pounding, obviously, cutting stuff on it. You flip it around, you get another side right there. If you had to, you could do this on a piece of 2x4, any flat piece of wood to pound into. So, a lot of times if it's not cutting through the leather, or whatever fabric you're cutting through, a lot of times this is the reason, because your bearing block here, or I don't know, your anvil block, I guess you call it, it's just worn out, so flip it around and get a different one. Any little flat block would work. And this thing will fill up. If it gets too full, just poke something through it. It'll keep pushing this thing here. It'll start getting full, but it can get real full. Like, I'm not worried about that.
Okay, so got 14 holes, and your distance from the edge to where you put your hole, the dots are roughly, you know, on the pattern, the dots for these holes, they're like, I want to say a half inch, give or take, they're like a half inch away from the edge of the circle. So we're getting there. Now, next, this. Now this is the part where what I do differs from a lot of other people. A lot of people, they'll just, you know, make these holes with an awl or a punch or whatever, and then they'll run a string through it, some cordage through it, and be done with it. You know, maybe make a button for it. Okay, and then, you know, so they have something to tie it off with, or just tie it. You don't even need that, technically. And then that's it. They'll be done with it. The problem is, eventually, you're going to wear the leather out. I mean, I use mine regularly, and eventually you're going to wear that leather out. So, what I decided I would start doing is put leather ground, they're just tarp eyelets. See? Go like that. Boom. Now you have an eyelet. Go around it the whole way. It's a little tedious having to go through, 14 of these darn things, or however many you put on yours. This one here, the way I do it, it takes 14 of them. And one thing to kind of, just for aesthetics, here, I'll show you on the next one, so it kind of just looks nice. Okay, you've got, with these eyelets, you have a male and you have a female. The male goes, sex ed, right? Here. The male goes into the female like that. Got it? Now you take your male and you stick that through the outside, because this is the side you're going to see, the outside here, the grain of the leather. Stick that through the grain, poking out through the suede or the flesh side. Then slip your female piece over it. Hammer it down, and then you have a nice clean look. See? As opposed to having that. And that's how I do the eyelets on my gloves too. This clean side always goes to the outside, and this side here goes on the inside where no one's going to see it. It's just aesthetics, just to make it look pretty. But any way you do it, it'll work. Like, let's say you mess up on one, you put it in the wrong way or something, you know. Not the end of the world. It's still going to work fine. Just I do it this way because it looks a little better. But hike your own hike, do it the way you want.
And here goes the last one. Sit on the anvil. And boom. Make sure you pound it down straight too. Like, don't let this thing go off one way or the other. That makes it go a lot easier. So, with that, we now have all the grommets. Oh, we're going to need a length of some kind of cordage. We'll use hemp. And I just kind of eyeball it. I just kind of bird dog it here a little bit. I'll give myself a little extra. Because I like to have, excuse me, because I like to have these long enough. I like to leave them nice and long. So if I want to tie this to something, like my belt or my pack or whatever, I can just tie this off. So, now I always go in. Trying to wrap around all my little tools and stuff. Alright, so you go in. Out. In fact, I'm putting way too much on here. And there we go. Pay attention to what you're doing. There we go. Then it's just in and out. Alternate it the whole way through. Knock your beer over. And there you go. Alright, it's not quite done yet though. We need a button. This here's a piece of muscle wood. One of my walking sticks, I just cut a piece off of it. And put a couple holes in. But I don't have a piece of muscle wood handy. What I do have, I don't want to say this is a piece of ash. It's a little piece of ash tree. Sapling. So what we'll do is, and we'll cut this off.
Clean this off first. I cut this piece of ash a long time ago. If you do this green, like peel the bark off, it goes a lot. It's way easier to do when it's green. Because I actually cut these to make walking sticks out of, probably 2 or 3 years ago. So it's definitely well seasoned. I always tell if it's seasoned because you'll have, hold on, I don't know if y'all can see that, the little cracks in the heart of the wood. This is well seasoned. I'm just getting some of the bark off. That's just a matter of preference. You can leave the bark on, it doesn't really matter. So once you're happy with whatever you got going on here, then it's a matter of just cutting it off. actually. I was going to do it with this, but I have a drill press sitting right over there. So rather than monkey screw around doing it this way, I did use this to put the holes in this one. But I did this like sitting up at my house, my kitchen table. Down here in the shop, I'll go use the drill press. And there you go, just like that, we got 2 holes. And these should feed through there pretty easily, providing the drill bit was big enough. Oh yeah. Alright. Now this is all we're doing to this. How much fun would that be? And it's a nice little pouch. The leather, that's really beautiful leather. But we want to waterproof it because this is going to be out in the elements. This is going to be going through all the crap that you go through. It may or may not be in your pack. Like I said, I leave these long. One, because you have to be able to open it up. So it's good to have some extra cordage on here. You can always use this as a Tinder. Let's see. You want to tie it to a pack, tie it to your belt, like I said earlier. Those are all, you know. So this thing's going to be out in the elements. So, let's waterproof this a little bit. Basically, I take this is the same stuff that I use for the gloves. And it darkens out that leather real nice. You want to work it over all of the grain. You don't want to get it on the flesh, on the suede side there. See, you don't want to get it in there. But you can see the contrast color. Between this and that, see? It gives the leather a lot more depth to the color. But it's a wax. I make this waterproofing agent. I make this out of it's mostly beeswax, and it has yeah, don't be afraid to get it on this. You definitely want it on that wood there too. It's made out of beeswax, lanolin, and linseed oil. It's kind of cool because the lanolin actually comes from the sheep. You can open this all right back up. Tie that off temporarily so we can pull this all the way up. Yeah, just so we don't lose it. Open this up a little bit more. You want to work this into all the, cover up all the grain so there's no white spots showing. It's a little tedious, but doing it by hand I found is the best way. And I even sell this stuff too. Like $5 for one of these. It's like 3.5 ounces. work it in with your palms. And if you get some on the flesh side, it's not the end of the world. It's all natural. There's no like petroleum jelly, none of that crap in it. I mean, not that petroleum jelly's crap. It definitely has its uses. But petroleum jelly, I would use that more for like zippers, like keeping zippers from sticking and freezing this time of year. Or like on my cross-country skis on the bindings, to kind of keep them lubed up. Because petroleum jelly's good. It has its uses. So I don't use it on leather. Unless I had nothing else to use. Hell, I would use cooking oil. Canola oil before I used petroleum jelly. If you want, take some, put it in your hands. If you're using like a natural cordage, like jute or hemp or any of that, this helps with any of those little wispy flyaways and the little wispy things on here. Like I said, this is good for preserving wood too. Smoff it all up in that wood too. Get it all up in there. Now, and the leather is going to soak this in. What I like to do, I have a wood stove in my house. I have the wood stove out here. Hang this by the wood stove overnight. Or you can use a hair dryer to set this oil into the grain. Use a hair dryer. That works really, really well. I've used it for gloves before. So, there you go. Alright, now this is actually for a buddy of mine. Actually, that's what I'm making this for. He's a subscriber of mine. He works at the local, my local hardware store, and I'm regular down there. Me and my dog Cheech, and I'm always in there like looking for oddball, weird stuff, because I'm into science, like backyard rocketry, all kinds of odd stuff that's probably not YouTube friendly. So anyways, I am always down there looking for oddball, weird stuff, and this is my gift to him for not turning me into the FBI ever. So, let's fill it up with some goodies too. Now, around here, because he wants this for his flint and steel kit. He has a flint and steel kit. You know, he's got his steel. He's got a Altoids tin that he keeps his stuff in. And that's primarily what this is going to be used for. It's going to hold his flint and steel kit with some tinder. You know, it's a tinder pouch, so that's what he's using it for, actually, too. So, around here we don't have any flint, really. We don't have any really decent flint. We have shale, and that doesn't really throw a spark, I don't think. But what we do have, we have lots of diamonds, Herkimer diamonds. Check them out. This one's actually a pretty nice diamond. But throw this in. Got some fat wood. Bam. We're going to hook them up. Some jute twine. And we'll throw in some birch bark too. Throw all that in there. Another piece of fat wood. It's actually a real nice piece. See all the resin in that? Throw that in too. And Draw it up tight. Make it look pretty. Oh. Look pretty if you didn't have that sticking out. There we go. Alright folks, and there you have it. Sami Tinder pouch. This is for my buddy. Here's mine. And this is like kind of sticky right now because of the, the oil isn't set. So I got to bring this in the house, and because I'm going in anyways. So I'll end up cleaning this up a little bit more because eventually it'll get like this. This isn't sticky at all. It's a nice, smooth finish to it. It's nice. But with that, I don't know. Show me how you guys make yours. If you do make one, if you're interested in making one. Like I said, the grommets. I don't know. I never see anyone else do it, but I thought it was a good idea. That's how I do it. And I use this regularly, and I've had no problems with the grommets or the leather ripping out. Sheepskin's pretty tough. Most leather's pretty tough. If I was going to use deer hide, I'd go with something thick. But any of the hides that we use for gloves would work great for this. Goat would be awesome. Sheep, elk, bison. Bison would look kind of cool because bison has a lot. It doesn't have this smooth grain. It's got a lot of texture to the grain. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Throw down a comment or two, and you guys have a same one of these? If you do, tell me about it. If you don't, make one, buy one. I sell these. This is how I make them right here, and I think I get $15 for one of those, and empty, of course, but it'll be finished. Completely finished like mine. This one here, like I said, I still gotta set the oil into it, which that takes like 10 minutes. Alright, so until next time, get outside, have some fun. If you can't get outside for whatever reason, I don't know, do a little project. Make one of these. Buy one of these. Like I said, we sell them like $15, along with our gloves and some other stuff, whatnot. But I'm not trying to give you guys a sales pitch. I'm just trying to get you to get outside and make something cool like that. And I think that's it. That's so weird. Alright. Okay, that's it for this video. Made a pouch for a buddy of mine, subscriber. And got my pouch here. You guys seen how it's made? Like I said, you can make one out of any kind of piece of leather, whatever you got laying around. Old jacket, couch. Like I said, a freaking, like a seat to a chair, would work perfect. So, if you're not into making stuff, we do sell them. And I don't know anyone else who makes them with the grommets. So, if you think that's cool, I said $15. We'll get you one of these. Empty, of course, but nonetheless, it's a cool little piece of kit to have. It's handy. And that's about it. So until next time, I'll catch you guys maybe out on the trail, I think, next time. So have a good one and stay cool. Bye, guys.